Free. See, the thing is, only the tire.
Yeah, but that's not because of that first.
Yeah, that is. It's
Not here, that's not.
That's.
Oh,
I got 4 days to do. All have to be, all the brings up to be, rocks have to be.
No.
Or don't they have to be.
Yeah, I'll do that, those friends will follow you.
I was like, just leave
This one is saying.
Didn't die of that period.
But he's taking the breed, so walkways in the crowd.
Yeah, that's what it is.
These speak.
They didn't realize that.
Seven by 3 times that.
Right?
That's terrible.
That's what they want to. Yes.
But this going to the make that's why they.
Yeah, never seen one like that, I'm just wondering if you could.
No, it's not going to be us because they'll.
Is it dead? Come on, this movie.
I don't think I saw this, take out that.
I'm better, I'm more routine schedule than that.
Yeah. Just.
Have you seen our life pattern about the business?
Oh my God.
Back in the answer to one was well, I'm concerned about, you know, the things that are.
But guy, yeah, all these guys.
But care about.
But you get them to go. The challenge with the trees.
Yes.
But it's against. People
Wow.
with the insurance. I when I review the insurance, and they come over to the picture, I read this. They lose all of it. Somebody.
They have this like great problem. So, yeah, so the only way to do that. Slow down.
So, yeah, no mind emailing. So,
I'll go for the.
Like, you.
I said, no, it's in.
Yeah.
On that.
He needs to bring
Account against the meeting.
I don't know, that's an example.
I will have a shitty.
Well,
Your situation.
Full list.
Send me that.
Yes.
I have.
Okay.
I think that. Said that. You want to come to the deal. This is all I think.
No, why?
Because the tree is in the south lead.
I never got an
It's not gonna be in line to remove it.
never good thing about being involved.
I know, that's not.
Yeah.
Because you need to go bring like this one.
Yeah.
All this block was so heavy.
Yeah.
It was 22 feet long by 8 feet. When you go over that, that was there. The night time rush. Yeah, it's hard for people to cross by the guys.
Yeah. So, and you have this full discussion.
So you're very awesome.
This is not what.
What they may ask. and I'm
Oh, it's the last
you know, not
meeting?
really consider this. They may ask for is for your replacement.
I mean, I have,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so.
the last meeting's only, but this is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so hard. File with stuff.
For the tree, where it is.
Because on the ground,
Yeah.
on the tree.
You just keep going. I completely agree.
Everyone is
Assassin Rich.
That probably was the best tree for that. Yeah.
Suddenly it dissolves.
So.
They're gonna get some insurance, you're responsible for that. We're gonna let it go. So my question is, please, let's. That's a lot, this, and is able to do the concrete stuff on this, unconscious circulation, because those are. Then talking about this one. Yeah, here, other side three, 34 parking garages. They will have to find that. Plus 13 feet, the big things like you mentioned. That is thing and pretty much. Yeah. These ones that are moving. Right. Each one that are active. Yes, we go for a second. Okay. You know, I get like, it's not over the. Very right.
B, so the change of commitment is.
You went.
Yes, so there you have, it's like that. Three is big, three more than. Sidewalk is like that, the problem with the month. Sidewalk is the problem, no, it's not the problem, yeah. It's a whole part of the. That is all right. I would read that if I didn't solve it. Now I'm working on it. We fall over this regular meeting in the first or no Borough County. Okay, Mr. Carney, please lead us in pledge, please.
Yeah, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you all please join me in a moment of silence. I found out, unfortunately, that Mary was Kevin tragically passed this 54, 56 on the 10th of February. I just found out today. So please keep Mary Lawrence's family in prayers and join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. This meeting is being held in compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. It's been advertised in retrospect on the bulletin board downstairs and through all official borough social media channels. For those of you who are here joining us today, please ask that you put your cell phones on silent. If you need to speak with somebody while we're conducting business, please do so outside of council chambers. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Present.
Mr. McLean.
Here.
Ms. Morales. Mr. Kerna. Mr. Sprazza.
Here.
Mr. Woods.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on the agenda this evening is the public portion of the meeting. Anyone from the public who wishes to come forward to speak on any topic, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I wanted to just ask a couple of questions about, campus. Here minutes of 201C change that one. On the agenda last time was a discussion about, lounges and, consumption. Does that mean a lounge has been approved?
No. There was a recent development, the Cannabis Regulatory Commission formalized rules that were adopted at their last meeting about what has to be done to get what is an add-on, an attachment to the license for anybody who wishes to have such a lounge. It's only for Class 5, which is the retail operation. And if you own multiple licenses in the state, only one of your locations is permitted to have. It was brought up in the context at the last meeting of, hey, this has happened. I know at times that group has expressed an interest in potentially having that. I just want you all to be aware of this. We're going to be reaching out to them to figure out sort of where they stand on this issue.
Okay, so how many other stores is have?
The ownership of Ginseng is unique, so this is their only store that they own.
So if they chose to have a lounge They would
They
choose
would
that
need-
here.
They would need the support of the municipality, of the governing body to do so.
And is council's feeling at this juncture that they're interested in lounge being referred to that possibly the group is interested?
My understanding is that they are, and we as a council have not discussed anything specifically about that yet. But they are interested. When I spoke with them after the last meeting, they indicated as much. But they also recognize that they need our approval for something like that, so it's not something that they're going to. They have a soft opening on the 22nd of February. There's not going to be a launch at that time. It's just going to be the retail operation.
And I understand it was a presentation of another group, maybe 26, 28 center. I wasn't here for that. Another group made a presentation to possibly have a lounge in the bank building. Is it possible? Yeah.
There was another group that came in, and I believe they were looking at the building, One West Park. So the corner building where the old CPA Solutions was.
Yeah.
They came in, first of all, they couldn't because it violates our ordinance, it was too close to the other license. They were talking about a lounge as sort of their primary interest, you know, with obviously retail. So, but that's, I haven't seen or heard from that group since they came before us.
Well, I just would like to offer that AAA is against legalization. You know, it's been legalized, but they are against it. And that's because impairment can't be measured with marijuana. So, I feel because of that, that we are putting our residents' safety at risk by having a lounge. It's like that being honest. And I'd also like to ask that maybe consistently we could have the agenda posted within 24 hours so that to give people the opportunity to prepare if they want to comment on any issue, not just canvas.
The agenda,
Consistently do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
it already is.
Not consistently.
The agenda is generally approved.
On.
We'll make every effort, but I believe that it's posted at the very least on Friday before every meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate that consistency.
Anybody else in the public? Okay, hearing none, close the public portion of the meeting and move on to public hearing on ordinance 24-01 model ordinance to exceed municipal budget, appropriations limits, and to establish a cap. Anybody who wishes to come forward and speak on that, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Hearing and seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on ordinance 24-01 model ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap. And move forward with adoption of ordinance 24-01 model ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap. Do I have a motion? Mr. Colonel, the first, Mr. Baraza with the second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Carnell.
Yes.
Mr. Sprazza.
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
We get the minutes. We are going to start here with October 9th. And we'll hear, everybody, Mr. Sprazza can vote on, the October 9th council minutes. So I have a motion.
So second.
Mr. Colonel, this is first, Mr. Woods with the second. All in favor? Opposed? And, Mr. Sprazza abstains. Next is the October 23rd, Borough Council meeting. Mr. McClune, Mr. Sprazza, and Mr. Colonel can vote on this. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion, Mr. Colonel, second, Mr. McClune. All in favor? Opposed? And Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Woods abstained. Next, I have November 13th, 2023. Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. McClune, Mr. Colonel, Mr. Woods can vote on these. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Mr. Colonel, first, Mr. Fitzgerald, second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions. Finally, November 27th, 2023. Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. McCune, Mr. Ross, and Mr. Woods can vote. Do I have a motion?
So, second.
Mr. Fitzgerald, the first, Mr. Woods, with the second, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much. Move into the engineer's report and release. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ryan. Two big points to highlight, this month meeting. As of the end of last week, the building work on the building has been completed. We're gonna do a final inspection, address any questions items. They're gonna leave the C boxes out in front of the roofing contractor. Materials for the roofing contractor have been received and plan on starting work on Thursday. So I'll be out for the grant space. Probably need some of the police parking lot. Staff has been removed, so we got the pilot, work on the work first. So this is a big item for this meeting.
Okay. And I recognize that we received an engineering report, that other issue. I don't think we have to go too far in depth on that related to Clement Avenue.
No.
And so that's continuing through the process. Okay. Questions from Mr. Lee? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay, next, correspondence. The only correspondence I see that we have is from Matt and Matt. Everybody should receive a copy of this. It's just the annual report from the Joint Land Use Board. Or maybe not everybody. I did. I did. So just to make sure everyone's focused around, there wasn't that much going on in the borough last year, so it's not heavy lift to read it if you would like to. No other correspondence? Okay, council reports. Mr. Woods, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a quick updates. This Thursday at 7 p.m., the Shade Tree will be meeting for their monthly meeting. The Green Team has a meeting, and it was just recently. So,
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday. And the advantage will not be meeting at this month, last week, due to lack of applications. But we do anticipate that would be a meeting next month,
That is nice to do.
and that's all I have.
Great. Questions from Mr. Woods? Okay, I'm sure we'll talk about shade tree. We can talk about tree removal.
Yeah, so I just for an update, as I was at the last meeting, the Shade Tree did have a chance to go through and make some recommendations. It was most of their recommendations were included in what I had put together, so to discuss that.
Tom had to go bring his own ordinance into this last.
Well, I think what he had said was we just did model ordinance, correct? Which was based on our recommendation.
And by the way, Red, that wasn't the suggestion to put 500 trees on that. That was just a list of trees that you could pick one or two from.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about
Yeah.
that. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry, DPW, unfortunately, Brian Perry has resigned, to move on to, other opportunities. We've been, we've offered a full-time position to one of our part-time, workers. We'll see if he accepts. On the vehicle end of things, the brine truck is down due to a hydraulic pump failure. We're working on getting a replacement for that as well. Street maintenance replaced some of the weather no parking during snow signs. They're working on trying hot asphalt pothole repair to see if those last a little bit longer than some of the cold patch ones. Cold patch if the last 6-7 months pretty well. We've also been doing multiple sewer calls on the 700 block of West Maple Avenue. Did confirm that area has been getting jetted every 6 months. We're meeting with the sewage authority to see what further actions can be taken there. From building maintenance end of things, there is a current electrical issue going on ongoing electrical issue, that looks like they're going to be having to make some repairs to the neutral and sub panel. In the meantime, the computer is out down at the DPW building. And for snow removal, we did use approximately 10 tons of salt during the last storm, and 13 tons of salt was brought in to replenish. Rented a quad tractor to assist with planning the sidewalks and multi-use path. The collection continues. That's all.
That was rental.
Correct.
We almost made me. And my kids, it was okay.
Today, huh?
We don't have one. They have like the quad. I thought it was great. I actually thought it was, Homer. It is. But, anyway, when I saw Kevin stop and fall, I recognized it. Sit back, over. It's the new race. That's what we're on,
You're full time and work this time.
yeah.
Churchville Fire Department, 21 calls last month, 8 in the borough, 1 in the town, made the shade out of on Hackett Township, round to that, 21 for the year, Joel's coming up, go through the plans. Still waiting for Rosenbaum to ladder. This is like the endless waiting for them to accept it. Procurement in, they're just waiting, parts have been ordered. When they say yes, we're driving it out. So hopefully that happens soon.
Okay.
Trying to confirm with Kevin that the price is locked in. I'm gonna probably reach out to the walls to make sure. Kevin said it is, so. The price is not increased.
Yeah.
Firefighter training, firefighter 1-2 graduation is last week. So we had, I think, 4 new firefighters. Or maybe, I can't recall. Look at it, and it's, it's horrible. Fire prevention, had doing that, inspections so far 3, 1 permit issued, come forth with 6 complaints, 5 closed out. Having a conversation, and I'll bring more to the council meeting next meeting, kind of do an open house for the fire department, invite the public in and do a little bit of hearing report on the department, sort of how many calls and for membership, and let them kind of come out, so. Early stages, Kevin's had a meeting with this whole membership, and just kind of addressing just general housekeeping cleaning from last year, and that sort of stuff, but stay tuned as that gets plans, let everyone know. All right. Well,
Questions, Mrs. Sprout? Before we move into that, I was just reminded that I don't know why Dan report reminded me of this. I did see that the Scout project was up around one of the pollinator gardens. All three, I was sold one. We did coordinate that with the green team and everybody, correct?
Sure.
Okay, good. So they were okay with
Talk to
the spacing and everything.
He told me that he spoke with Mr. Smith.
I just noticed that they were up and this is good time that I get information and stuff.
and that's what I'm still else there's.
That was short. That's.
That's a shorter one.
I got you, okay. We put that for your use.
Okay, sorry. I think rest. Mr. Clune, please.
Sure, thank you, Your Honor. Birchville Police for the month of January were involved in 1,454 incidents. 125 of those were the officer-initiated positive engagement with the community. The police department continued to engage with both schools in town with the children on a regular basis. Of those statistics, they include 214 traffic stops, 112 parking enforcements, and 5 arrests. In the month of January, Chief Gracia was quite busy with training, attending an Attorney General training on major discipline, the Municipal Alliance MAGS training, and a few different trainings associated with the State Chiefs Association. As many people know, on January 19th, Sergeant Matthew Rowe did lose his battle with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Those services were held on Thursday, January 25th. Chief Gracia and the police department do want to extend their appreciation to a few parties. First, Chief Captain Patty and the Burchville Fire Department, who displayed the American flag outside of the funeral home. Second, to Mayor Ted Brennan for your unwavering support, I think, since day one. The support, compassion for the Lilly family through the whole ordeal. And then also Chief Phil Alito and the Pensacola Police Department, who provided coverage for the Merchantville Police Department during the funeral service. Spoken about in the last update, Officer Tavares and Officer Selman continue to progress through their field training programs as expected. And then last but not least, it's my duty to report that Patrol Unit 2409 was taken out of service due to the squirrels chewing completely through the spark plug wires. Also, an officer's personal vehicle was also damaged from the squirrels chewing through the several ending wires. So just putting that out there for awareness. Because
Just for awareness.
it's for awareness, just because
I did try Iris.
Irish Spring and
And scrolls for disruptive behavior or
they do have a police sketch on the squirrel in question, but he remains at large. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. McClone, not related to the world? All right. Moving on, Mr. Borough, please.
Just a couple things. One, I have a resolution meeting for $2,344,316.27 for offer later. It's that time of the year to start putting the budget together. So start thinking about the budget. I will warn you in advance. We knew last year was a tight budget year. This will remain a tight budget year as we get through the last payment after this year, so the long-term debt falls off. So we can believe it. This year it's still going to be a very difficult year, so please keep that in mind. There's also been, just so everyone's aware, the state of New Jersey updated the bonding financing rules about what you can capitalize the time frame over. So you can now spread it over a longer time. Specifically, what they now spread out was traditionally they would only allow us to spread the bonding time frame for 5 to 10 years. They've expanded that to 20 years. That's a huge difference. Now, of course, we already bonded for our fire truck, but I'm going to take a look at whether or not it makes sense for us to refinance that bond. That's not over a long period of time. Shut down our payments as opposed to keeping it over to the 10-year time. So that's a really big deal for us. So our last bonding finance, when we average everything in, fire truck only 7.5-year payback. So if we can move that from like 7.5 years with the fire truck, the majority of it, to something like 15 or 13, it's a big deal difference in the budget. So just keep that in the back of your head as we kind of move forward on some of these things.
Fire trucks are permanent finance already.
I don't know. I think it may have. I think we put it permanent last year. We had this one. I think last year was last year.
We didn't want to lose the opportunity for, we knew the rates were set in the right direction for us.
So, and that's what I also think, look at is the rate will be higher, but if it's over a longer period of time, so I just got to figure out like, if it's going to be the same number, we'll just keep it at 7 years. But so there's an analysis that's actually occurred, so let me just, I'll get back to it. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware that that happened. It's really important. Let's see what else we have here. The abandoned properties in town, we have 14 properties, 7 are commercial, 7 are single family. One of which is the one adjacent to the school. Before I expressed to you the school is not interested in the property, we have since been contacted by the school, they are interested in the property. So we're continuing to work with them to see if we can take the property. It looks like they're very interested. That's it, that's in the report. Thank you.
Questions from Mr. Borough? All right, hearing none. Thank you, council. We'll move on to the clerk's report. Mrs. Rouse.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to remind you that JIT training is still a requirement. If you can get online, get that training done, I would appreciate it. Letting you know that we're closed on Monday for President's Day, in case anybody asks. We'll put a sign up Also, History Night is coming up on February 29th at the Merchantville Community Center. That's part of our 150th celebration. And again, we're asking Mayor and Council to be available for the weekend of May 18th and 19th to help us in any way. If you'd like to let Rebecca or I know how you'd like to help, that would be great.
Questions for Mr. Kraus? Hearing none. Rebecca? Community development.
As mentioned earlier, ginseng, will open stores February 22nd. In the, Bowen West Park, which is formerly CBA Solutions Building, we have two businesses that are, finishing up and about to move in. One is a kitchen and bath showroom, which is on the first floor, the smaller space. And then on the second floor, there's a behavioral health office, moving in there. We're continuing to plan for the 150th. There'll be more information out how each of you can be involved with that. Several different elements that you can let the hand with, and that is all about that.
Great. Smart Love event was fantastic. I don't think you could have fit any more people into that whole area. They must have had it run on the bathrooms because Manuel came out and said, maybe porta potties next year. So they had a bunch of little kids in the bathrooms. So, anyway, that's a good problem.
Yes.
But thank you to all the volunteers, the scout troop was out there. Rebecca and you organized that, so thank you very much for your efforts. It's always somehow shining a great light on our community. And knock on wood, we really haven't had a major weather problem with any of the events we've had.
Yeah.
More of all benefits, so,
Very lucky.
thanks. I did jinx it. Although last night in the Super Bowl, those guys made the longest kicks ever, it's like 3 times, so, I get a lot of that every time, so I kind of feel like I'm in it.
That was last night.
Yeah, that's Super Bowl. I don't know. We're moving on. Old business, okay, first is the, Article 4 in Chapter 60B tree removal and replacement. So not only is it something we'd like to consider, but it seems like our engineer, looking at the MS4 regs, said, hey, you need this too, so. We are, I think, at a point where I don't know how comfortable you feel with the form that you last submitted. I don't know where other council members are. I'd like to introduce this sooner than later. The one issue that I think that was outstanding or was how are we charging individuals for removal of trees on their property, and or are we requiring them to plant? Is there a like kind type of thing? And then also how do we deal with dead trees on people's property, and whether they should be classified differently, the same, etc. So Ray, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, so the model ordinance does outline based on the tree's diameter, what a potential replacement tree would be required. It's not equal, but it's of a certain level. It's 1 to 2, whatever the ratio is. And then as far as dead trees, the model ordinance does take that into account. There's a number of exceptions that fall within, and a resident can appeal to the borough if they feel that they have a unique exception to the statute or ordinance.
So my only concern with that is I don't know that I want to be the tree judiciary here and determining, making that judgment call every single time. I would rather have just the bright line rule that they live with, whether the tree's dead or not. I mean, do we really want to get in the business of, reading an arborist report from them and interpreting it, or them having to make an application that it falls under this, that, and the other exception? I feel like it, in a borough that is administratively challenged from a staffing perspective, to add that would really, I mean, that's tough. And then,
My concern is that we are, if a resident is moving a bedroom that is potentially dangerous, not only to their own property, but a neighboring property, that we are imposing a penalty on them, if they proactively remove that.
yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I just don't, where's the line? What is?
I think they would have to have a
And who's
certification from a certified three expert.
So why wouldn't they just spend $100 to pay into a fine? Rather than going to ask an arborist or a certified individual to come in and do that.
I mean, if they're in for replacement trees. It's not, and that's for small.
They could, but they could do either or. I mean, I don't know the exact particulars of what replacement. Or what-
So it's all based on the diameter of the tree that's driven across, and it's very minimal, it's gonna be $500.
Here's my thought process on this. I think we should. Every tree, it's dead and down, and I understand what you're saying on penalties, something like that, dead tree. But I don't think if it's a dead tree on some property, the diameter of the tree should apply. It's just one tree, one for one. Like if it's a 60-inch tree, replaces the brand new small caliber tree someplace in the
I
park.
have so much money into that tree or not.
No,
I think that's at this point, is that we're figuring the turning one say and it's.
that's true, but I also think that the number of trees, not the sizing, like 4 trees for one tree, I think it's excessive. At 1.5, that's a big tree, 1.5 caliber. So 4 of those on the property, that could be, that's hard to figure out, how to put 4 trees with one big tree that's wet.
Then it's also, the borough can determine if the property owner feels that that's important, that we can distribute the trees in other areas.
Yeah, I don't know,
I think we should just adopt, what is the requirements that we have to comply with?
Well, that's the other question. What parts for the MS4 are we required to just end ordinance, or are there specific provisions within the ordinance or required? No, I know what this says, but.
So what the department says is that we need to adopt something that is at the same level of the model ordinance or more stringent.
oh, we gotta do this minimum.
But the model ordinance has been changed and has been,
It's changed a few times.
yeah, and there's the latest iteration,
But we have to adopt this by, what's the latest?
not until July, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Could we adopt like a net loss ordinance instead?
That's what I think, yeah, because of that loss. I'm okay with it.
I mean, this is a very complicated process, I don't know if we could have time to do this.
I think that, and I've
So
said
that
that,
much,
but the issues could be enforcement and really listen to
That's
that.
why.
I mean, we have enforcement no matter what, whether it's a net loss or that, it's still gonna be enforcement.
That's one of the reasons why I like the net loss idea, because it's very simple. When the tree dies or comes down, we know that person's supposed to spawn tree. Like, that's a very simple thing to enforce, it's very clear, it's like, it's a bright line test, no one can argue it, doesn't matter what it is, tree coming down, tree goes up.
And there's also a little bit of, we have to specify that the trees, if arborvitae's considered,
Oh,
if you remove
No.
40.
there's a list, this one is. I
that
like
or
it.
something.
No, this is new.
That's for replacements, what's acceptable replacement trees.
Right, so then this answers your question on arborvitae. What I like also is, this actually also talks about like, what can be planted under wires, what can't be planted
We
under
manage
wires.
that.
Like,
We made a spot, like, whatever problem, where we go plant trees. And we had that in West Maple, we tried to build a 3 planting stuff on West Maple, that there was no spots for any, So there's so forth, like, is there a way we can do, is there a way that if someone, while the white path has places, there's other places that there is river trees. We know that our shade canopy is now 100 years mature, which means that one tree takes a lot of space.
yeah,
And they're big, and you're gonna have to replace with a whole lot of trees.
Right.
And that's not gonna be feasible for many places, so what's alternative based on the ordinance or based on the rules order that says could a tree be placed neighboring somewhere else, is gonna be replaced with something else inside.
It's gonna say again, it doesn't have to go back to the property, you can go someplace else.
Yeah, but even like, where we gonna like, for example, we're gonna have neighbors that, let's take the one house in Browning that tower trees, I don't know. We don't have places on public property for this century.
Well, we did.
Yeah, but it's 85 years ago.
Right.
And if they removed a lot of oak trees, that might have been, you know,
Well, they pulled down like 3 or 4 major oak trees under this work, because they would have was like 20 trees.
and I'm just wondering, like, is there ways we could accomplish this to know that loss and then alternatives? That improve stormwater management, this is not like, this is feasibility, we're getting to a point where this is not gonna be sustainable. For something for us, because I mean, we're gonna put the community center, well, like, well, the parking.
Yeah, well, I mean, so like, oh, like a couple trees.
Sure.
And then there's a number of like street tree areas where.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're dying, and they're constantly kind of like pulling back in, I mean.
I think you take one time.
And I understand what your point is, that, you know, if you're really 4 for 1, and most of the town is a 4 for 1 swap. I mean, we're gonna end up with like a lot of 1 street all over the place, yeah, they're putting up trees.
I mean, we've been doing the Arbor Day for years.
And that's why, I don't mind the net loss of 1 for 1, or even if it's those really big trees, 2 to 1. But I could not see going more than 2 to 1, you know, big tree, that's.
There's no past.
There's, you know, we're a small town, we're, you
We're
know.
not built out.
The new model ordinance is that it's the largest of those 2 for 1.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, it's not, we're not requesting that they plant more than one.
Oh, this one here says we plant 4 trees, minimum caliber 1.5 for each tree removed.
But it says 4, so look at the beginning of that, it says 4 dBH of 33 inches of grade. I don't know why they did it that way. But they're saying, I don't know why that's even.
No, category 4 is you plant 4 trees for 1 tree.
That's just.
These are the categories, so you have 4 categories.
Yeah.
It's 4 trees for any tree that's 33 inches. When you think about that, 33-inch round tree,
Yeah.
like we have a number of those in town.
That's true.
All right, so this just makes, what you're looking at here is just 2 categories.
Yeah, which I'm okay. Have 2 categories, I'm good. So I think that's reasonable, and that's, you know.
So the newest model, what is it, it has just.
Up to 30 inches is 1, over 30 inches is 2.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then the alternative is with payment fee and in a year where dedicated farming funds that goes to the shade tree.
Yeah,
And figure out how much you want to put in, what do you want to, what dollar amount to put on that.
So what we had was. Let me get back, so if it's 1.5 diameters, I think 500 probably is gonna be more than sufficient, let me go back to the shade tree, let me see what they think it's gonna cost for the tree install and the tree itself, and we'll go with that number.
yeah, I wouldn't mind, I think the ordinance here, if they've had 357, 10, 14, I would be able to split it, like 7 and 14. 1 tree is 7, 2 is 14. So that one says
14 of them.
1,400. $700 on 1,400. That'll be the, in lieu of putting in trees, that's the amount we pay to the borough to avoid. planting.
$400 would take you that treatment.
Then take 1 tree.
One
That's greater.
Or like $1,000, you could be in that hole for $5,000.
Yeah.
They will have no hardship, but because I mean, if you buy a new house and you're trying to move in, you take a tree down, I mean, that's gonna become unsustainable for residents. We're gonna price people on this town too.
That's true. But every time that's.
That's why.
I think we have to say, I've done research and I've told people how to.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that this is not.
Yeah.
Prior to the same thing, which is why it's kind of go to that loss, but.
Yeah.
What else, I think that same reason, I think we need to include before trees that are dead or near die to exempt that from this.
So how much you take?
I don't want to be in that business. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to accept any.
I just feel like you're gonna be. Where's your point of belief if they disagree with your assessment?
What is that?
Well, it's a certified arborist to say this tree is.
But what's that?
You can get a certified arborist to say trees.
Right. Yeah, and by the way,
I mean, that's.
what's that?
No, that's not what I want. I want to make sure the tree canopy stays intact in the borough.
But also, what's that, is dead in 5 months, 6 months, a year? When's it gonna be dead? I mean, I know, I mean that legitimately.
We also have PSC&G arborists that come by and say, oh, that tree's totally fine, they're like, chop it all off and say, like, one branch.
And they actually find arborists that do it.
They're not gonna give us. Yes, it's not gonna pay us for this tree.
You can, they can, but absolutely they can.
Yes, they can.
But you
And we'll,
It's the skip us.
This gives us the ability to go ahead. We don't have any skill.
Towns have done that.
PhD running this organization town.
Yeah, they're starting to.
All right. As well.
But is there a way to simplify this? You know that loss, trees over streets, signs get replaced.
It's hard.
And do margin.
Yeah, over 30 inches, that's a pretty big trim. I think a lot of ours are probably near the 30 inch. We definitely have some that are over 30 inches. I mean, I'm not saying we don't, but we also have a lot that are probably in the 24, 26 category that are below 30.
And in any words, it's definitely take into account what trees we should plant for global warming. And for people who go out there and buy an ash tree for the ash tree, buy 5 years, because that could be a great waste of effort.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually.
I mean, there was the appendix, in my original ordinance, we had that shade tree would be approving whatever tree was where we want.
So they had to come before, so that.
For purposes of local final services.
Would they have to come to that meeting then?
Not if they're
We don't
planning
have to
something along the list.
list approved by.
Every single one agrees to the approved list.
See, my whole thing is this, I would rather have. Well, yeah, no, I think it's all on the list.
A list with the certification is what you're doing.
Yeah, but all on the list.
So I think if we go that route, we need to create two categories, one for two processes, one for street trees and one for trees that the property owner is planting. Because the street trees are trees. Correct. If they're gonna remove them and replant them,
Then
I think the borough needs to say, what's going there, where it's going.
give a smaller list.
But I think it depends on what does that curb strip look like? It's a different tree for a wider curb strip versus a smaller curb strip.
Sure.
So and also I think
When they're on responsibility, we should have more.
agree to approve whatever is going in essence. So if it's a street tree, shade tree has jurisdiction.
But technically, you guys are saying, yeah, remove a shade tree, and
Without approval, well, that. They can't, but then if they do, we have recourse against them under this.
Did you guys approve a street tree room, by the way, on Borough?
There's a lot that we
Agreed.
approval of us with that. That DPW has been working through, so I off the top of my head.
It was one of the DPW take out, it was a big tree. Yeah, they did, it probably got some.
That would be, I don't, as long as a resident on their property is planting a tree that is approved by the borough, and that's fine, but if it's a street tree, I think it should be approved.
They still have to submit it, they're certifying that they've planted those trees.
Yeah.
They will be planting. trees. Yeah, I agree, we should have control over what are our trees. That we're responsible for maintaining.
Yes,
Even if
we have spoilers, what goes in and where.
All right, well, let's see if we can pull this in for some sort of further discussion in the next meeting, maybe introduction. That time.
Yeah,
I don't think that.
just one of the topic that, for me, we replaced it, all I wanted was a penalty if they opted not to replace it. To be higher, so it's encourage them to replace the tree. Like, I would rather, so like, you don't have to pay $700, put a tree back. You know what I'm saying, like, that was.
I'm saying about this, but we see a lot of trees in different place, it's not like a tree that's issue that.
Well, no, it's on the property, it's on the walls of the property, it's not private property, I'm saying, well, if you're not on the property, not there, and it's, you know, it's like, just put it back. You know, that's all we want, if they're gonna pay us to take the tree and put it back on our property, all I'm saying is that I would rather have it be more expensive.
I think you're gonna penalize people that maybe don't have the space to put a tree around, straddling 2 properties and everything else that you get into it in solar yards. I just. At some level, I just said,
Does he have any trees to take out?
I did.
If you took a tree down, where would you put there's nowhere to put the tree. But I think.
No, it's not. I mean, it's in front of the road, it's so close already.
Okay, well,
And that's, or
it is.
Councilwoman Rouse, you know, had trees that are
Yeah.
gonna damage your house, to put another tree there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get easy when you start trying to place a tree that's maybe shaded and stuff like that, I know it's small, it shouldn't be a penalty.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of people are penalties for something that's outside of their control.
You're gonna find this.
So it's all, yeah, I understand it. I don't think it's.
So we'll reconvene on this the next meeting. We have time to work on this and get this. Next, discussion regarding ordinance for private unit salt storage in Borough. I don't know what discussion we have on this. I don't know how many private unit salt storage. This is what we have in Borough, 0, I would assume. Most important is that we're storing our salt correctly.
That's
Probably
Until I saw it, I was at a store thing, I was like, who's out there like leaving piles of.
I thought the same exact thing. I was water, I was like, why are we even discussing this?
There's much to say about things.
You're talking for about the third person, right?
Okay, C, East Park Avenue, kind of reconstruction widening, we had a meeting last week with them about the reconstruction, the widening, East Park Avenue. I think everyone will be pretty pleased, we're going to put it on at the next meeting, correct? We'll have stuff to walk through the project, what's there, and, you know, incidentally, how many trees are potentially going to be removed as a result of this, and how we're going to handle that. I believe it was 4. But we're going to July 11th, 16. I hope not. I believe it's 4. They were confirming that, and they were plotting those on the plan. So we'll have a discussion about that and be ready to talk about how we're going to replant those and what we need to do. So that is coming, chat, coming for the next meeting. Downtown redevelopment area, the pedestrian walkway, they met with the green team, the engineers earlier this week, late last week. And they would provide us some suggestions and thoughts the green team had. So we're taking that under consideration. We expect that that's going to be moving forward soon enough. There were, I believe, some trees that were in the center of that triangle that were potentially going to be impacted. So we were getting a better understanding, my understanding from those who were at the meeting on top. We're going to see what's going to be impacted, how we're going to be able to save some of those and figure it out. Making efforts on that. And then for the area that is between, it is the east side of that triangle as you get towards the cliffs. Still working with the developer about sort of getting that passive recreation area really kind of thought out well. And it looks like that he's going to be proposing a pavilion with public restrooms there, and also hookups for food trucks that would be in the area that would be between the backs of the pavilion, almost in a V, looking outwards towards Center Street, all right, towards the pedestrian walkway. With the back of it, so the restrooms and the hookups for the food trucks would be on the back right next to the place. That pavilion area would have an area in front of it for performances. So, you know, think music fest there. There would be electric, water, sewer, everything there. So, in addition to that, as part of that, there would also be public parking to make the improvements necessary to formalize public parking on the west side of the Tap Grant walkway, in the area where the parking currently exists behind the medical building and the station is, to maximize the spots there, not infringe on existing spots that are owned by the property of the station. And then also refinishing and resurfacing of the Verizon lot for public parking. So, that is in the works at this point. There's some discussion with them about a lease, agreement with them on that. Where they would make the improvements and we would lease the improvements with an option to purchase at some point. Still working out some of the details, false profile associated with that and how it might make sense, but that's one of the options on the table, at this point. I know that in the development, this developer done in Hampton with the Board of Education, that's how they handled that improvement. They're now leasing it. Now that was a traditional office space that field, but we'll see what options are available. That's kind of where we're looking right now for that east side of that development. Question? No. Okay. West End alleyways update. Just an update on this. We have had some meetings, talk about how we would be able to improve the alleyways, lighting, cameras, etc. Tom is still working on getting some of that information for us. But it's going to be a combination of working with residents and business owners in the area to install lighting, cameras, etc. And also to find ways to maybe make it a less inviting place for those who wish to vandalize or anything like that. We're looking at opportunities for murals and painting and refinishing of the alleyways and just stuff to brighten it up and make it part of the community rather than feeling like it's this desolate area that's only used by fire and maintenance that we need to, and or some residents for access. So we're working on that, and you know, public safety is involved, public works is involved, and so just want to give everybody an update on that. I know we're communicating with one of the residents who actually brought up the issue. It's not just the alleyway between Poplar and that West End or Hamilton, but it's the other way too. It's both. It's yeah. So, all right. Questions on that? Okay. Question for you all. Yeah, leave that. We need Borough when they're going to be paid. We do. What did they say, March?
So we think what?
Maybe what?
Big laugh. We just need
Then
to.
March will be done by September.
Next.
That's a pretty big day.
Let's make it Ken Brown. Just someone aware.
March sounded great. That was the head shake.
How many more lines of your police between March?
Listen, it was positive news as it was presented to us. Okay?
Yeah, I got you.
It will begin in March. Yeah.
Oh, with from first or just.
Okay. So there you go.
Big Brian will be the package of the.
You didn't say,
It's not before, it'll be passion, that's me. That's,
Biggest passion for the passion they did about 5 years.
yeah, that's just what you do with concrete these days.
Different pace watches.
Okay, we have two items in new business for applications. The first is approval for banner placement. This is
Just one
yes,
So this is from Merchantville School, a banner that we did last year, reminding kids now, reminding parents now at the time, for kids to register for kindergarten. So, I think it's the same exact banner, maybe third grade or when this year. Lucky to put it up, at the beginning of March and take it down around April 5th.
yeah,
Remember this? April 15th is the date for first.
We don't need anything else in the contract.
Let's take that.
I'm
saying it there.
No,
I finished it up.
yeah, that's different.
You need approval.
We do, just, but I'm not necessarily for the school race to St. Peter's, using the multi-use path from 2 to 2 Fleetwood Runners. I don't think that's 2 p.m. to 2 a.m., or maybe they're not. Well, May 10th. I think it's 2 to 3, if I would imagine. I just think there's a typo. St. Peter's uses this every year. It's May 10th. No objections, everybody's written off on this. Everybody's okay approving it by consent agenda. I'll accept the motion. So
Second.
Mr. Borough first, Mr. Fitzgerald second, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions. Okay, resolutions, 24 approved veterans deduction. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Mr. Turner first, Mr. Sprout second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Brazza.
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the financial reports. Mr. Turner, review.
As previously discussed, we have bills to pay, $2,034,37.27. Majority of that is going to school district, county. So I'll approve that.
Do I have a second? Second. Mr. Turner first, Mr. Wood second. Any discussion on the payment of bills? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Yeah.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Brazza.
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
Announcements. Any announcements? No? Okay, anyone, any announcements? I don't think we have any private session this evening. Anything else for the good of the order? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Turner was first, Mr. Woods with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, session. These adjourned, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
There you go.
Now that I know you're.